All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a play that's over 400 years old, but is still shockingly controversial. We're talking about Christopher Marlowe's The Jew of Malta. And honestly, it's a work that makes us ask some pretty uncomfortable questions about art, prejudice, and what it even means to be a villain. So yeah, that quote pretty much sums up the play's notorious reputation. For centuries, people have seen it as this hateful rant, right? A piece of propaganda so toxic that it's almost impossible to stage for a modern audience. But is that really the whole story? Is it really that simple? To really figure this out, we've got to follow the evidence, kind of like a detective. And the first place to look, well, it's got to be the play's prime suspect, the character at the very heart of all this controversy.
Okay, let's dive in. Meet Barabas, our protagonist? Antagonist? It's complicated. He's introduced as the richest man on the island of Malta, a Jewish merchant whose wealth is like the stuff of legend. And from the get-go, we see he's fantastically greedy and, as we're about to find out, fantastically ruthless.
So here's how it all kicks off. The Christian governor of Malta, a guy named Farnese, needs to pay off the invading Turks. But instead of taxing everybody, he decides to just seize the entire fortune of Malta's Jewish community. When Barabas objects, Farnese takes every last thing he owns. So, stripped of his home, his money, everything, Barabas vows a terrible revenge. And believe me, his actions quickly build a very, very powerful case against him.
And oh, what a revenge it is. I mean, Barabas unleashes this staggering spree of cold-blooded murder. He cleverly tricks his daughter's two suitors into killing each other in a duel. Then, when his own daughter is horrified by what he's done and flees to a nunnery, he poisons her and all the other nuns. He strangles one friar, frames another for the murder, and then poisons his own slave and his buddies when they try to blackmail him. The body count is just astonishing.
This line right here, it perfectly captures his whole mindset. When Barabas finds out his daughter helped him get some of his hidden gold back, this is how he reacts. He's literally weighing his daughter against his gold like they're interchangeable treasures. His priorities could not be clearer. It's all about wealth and vengeance. He's the classic, greedy, monstrous villain. Case closed, right? Well, maybe not. Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. Because while Barabas is, without a doubt, a monster, he's a monster living in a world of monsters. The second you zoom out from him, you start to realize something. In this play, nobody is good. Let's just put our so-called villain right next to the guy who wronged him. Barabas is totally open about his evil, right? He brags about his schemes. But Governor Farnese, the Christian leader, he's just as ruthless. He just cloaks his theft in this language of religious duty, claiming he's doing it to save the people. But he's every bit as greedy and treacherous as Barabas. He just uses his faith as a cover for his own political moves and, frankly, his hypocrisy. And believe me, it doesn't stop there. You've got Christian friars who are more interested in Barabas's money than his soul. His Muslim slave, Ithamor, eagerly jumps in on the killing and then immediately betrays him. The invading Turks, brutal conquerors. Marlowe paints this picture of just universal corruption. Every single group, Christian, Jew, Muslim, is shown to be violent, greedy, and completely hypocritical. So that's the crucial question, isn't it? If everyone is evil, what was Marlowe's goal here? Was he just a guy who hated everyone? Well, to really get his true purpose, we have to look at the play's really radical framing device, something he throws at the audience right from the very start. See, Marlowe bases this whole play on the philosophy of Niccolò Machiavelli. Now, in Elizabethan England, Machiavelli was basically a bogeyman. This was an author whose ideas were considered so dangerous they were practically forbidden. His whole philosophy argued that in the real world, morality is for suckers. The only thing that matters is power, and you should use any means necessary to get it. And the play doesn't just embrace this idea, it literally puts the ghost of Machiavelli himself on stage to deliver the prologue. He tells the audience straight up, forget about good and evil. He says religion is just a childish toy, and that the story you're about to see isn't some morality play. Nope, it's a demonstration of amoral, ruthless power politics in action. Okay, so with that as the introduction, Barabas starts to look a little different, doesn't he? Marlowe gives his audience the over-the-top, stereotypical Jewish villain they were probably expecting. But then he shows that everyone else, especially the Christian authorities, is playing by the exact same cruel Machiavellian rules. Barabas is basically a caricature, a dark cartoon that Marlowe uses to expose the hypocrisy of the entire society. All right, so let's circle back to our central question. Is this play an anti-Semitic tract, or is there something else going on entirely? Let's look at the final verdict, based on all this evidence. This really is the core argument for the defense. The play isn't so much anti-Jewish as it is, well, anti-human. As the critic Hussein Ibish puts it, Marlowe's work is just cynical and misanthropic. He seems to hold all cultures, all civilizations, and all religions in equal contempt. Barabas isn't uniquely evil. He's just the most honest one in the room.
And in this world of total corruption, you better believe nobody gets a happy ending. Barabas is ultimately out-schemed by the hypocritical governor Farnese, and he dies by falling into a boiling cauldron, a trap he had set for his own enemies. It's a fittingly dark and really ironic end. T.S. Eliot even called the play a savage comic humor, a bleak farce about just how deep human greed can go.
At the end of the day, the Jew of Malta doesn't give us any easy answers. It uses offensive stereotypes to make a really cynical point about society. It's still a profound challenge, forcing us to ask how we should deal with powerful, provocative, and just plain uncomfortable works from the past. What's our responsibility when art is both brilliant and deeply troubling? Now that's a question worth thinking about.